Good morning. Today we're going to do a quick video to show you how to do a very simple program in VEXCODE that will run your motors forward. We have the V5 robot, and we have two motors in the background, and we have connected the motors into port number 3 and to port number 8. It's important that we remember which ports those are in, because when we actually program, write the program on the computer on the computer must correspond to where we have plugged the ports, plugged in the motors on the physical robot. So this is the VEXCODE environment where you type your programs. When you open a new program and named it, and we've named this one first program, you will see 4 windows over on the left hand side. We're going to briefly talk about these. robotconfig.h is going to be where, partially where when you set up devices, it's going to create code for you. I've already created 2 motors over on the right. I'm going to get rid of those right now. And you can see when I delete this, notice I'm deleting the motor, right motor, and notice here we have right motor. If I delete it in the configuration, it goes away over in the code. I'm going to do the same thing for left motor. And here we see the code. When I delete it, that code goes away. So when we add devices over in this configuration area, that's going to bring those devices into robotconfig.h. VEXH has all these include statements, and basically whenever you're writing commands in your main program, this is going to make sure that the computer and software understands and knows all those commands. Main is where you will write the program that's actually run by the robot. And robotconfig.cpp is a lot like robotconfig.h. Whenever we configure devices over on the right hand side, it will bring that code into robotconfig. So without any don't have to waste time, let's look at the main program. Whenever you see the main program, you'll see in a new program, you'll see all this green stuff at the top. Those are comments. They do not affect the program. They're important, but we'll talk about that at another time. Include VEXH is going to bring in devices that you create. And let's just get down to where it says int main. This is where you write your program. This VEXCODE init is going to be there already. Don't get rid of it. We're going to write our code after VEXCODE init. So let's look at these 2 lines. It says left motor, set velocity 25, and then units. So left motor is the name. We're going to have to create that over in configuration, because as of now, you notice it's highlighted in red. It means it doesn't understand that word. It's never been created before. It says use of undeclared identifier. But it sets the velocity at 25. This is a percentage, so the higher that number is, the faster it's going to go. The lower, the slower. We do the same thing for right motor, and we set the velocity at 25. That does not make the motor move. It only sets the velocity that it's going to move at once you tell it to move, which is in the next line. Left motor, right motor spin. Now that makes our motors move. And we have set both of these at FWD forward. If you want to make a motor go a different direction, you change that FWD to REV. Task sleep 3000 means it's going to do that for 3 seconds. And we've got to put left motor and right motor stop, or else it'll keep on going after the 3 seconds, and you need the stop there to tell it to end. So remember, this left motor and right motor, the computer still doesn't understand, so we have to go over to our configuration box over here. If this isn't here, you click up on the 3rd button from the right, and that will toggle this configuration window. We're going to say add device. Right now we wanted a motor, and remember we connected 1 to port 3. Once I do that, this window opens up at the top. We're going to call that one the left motor. It's essential that you write the name of the motor in this configuration window exactly as it appears in your code over here, including case sensitivity. So left motor, capital L, capital M in this case. And down here, notice this is normal. Normal refers to the spinning of the motors. It means that it's going to spin counterclockwise on this side, and reverse is going to make it go clockwise. I'm going to leave that as normal. And we're going to add one more device. This was also a motor. This was on port 8. We're going to call this right motor. Make sure that it's exactly the same as what we wrote over in our code in the middle. Now, usually your motors are going to be oriented against each other. So if forward for one motor was normal, then usually forward for the other is reverse, and that should make the motors correspond to each other. Just remember, if you're having a problem, you can change forward and reverse here, or you can change the spinning over here. So I'm going to say done, and notice these are no longer highlighted in red. Now it knows what right motor and left motor are, and if this program works correctly, we should we're going to download it, and it's checking to see whether it's written correctly. Once we think the program is written correctly, we're going to look back down at our robot over here, and I'm going to click on Run, and there it goes. Motors go forward for 3 seconds. You can use the code in main. Now that everything's configured, you can use these left motor, right motor spins. Change one to reverse, it's going to turn. Change both to reverse, it's going to go backwards. You can copy and paste that over and over again to create a simple program to allow your robot to move around the board. So there you go, first program.